Welcome, my spooky cats and kittens. Let's get into the studio, if you're not too afraid. Today we are making a Ghoulish botanical tray in honor of Halloween. Now I'm going to be using peel and stick wallpaper for this. It's a really cute, creepy botanical print that I got from Spoonflower. Peel and stick wallpaper has a lot of uses other than just as wallpaper, so this is one of its many uses. And if you get the samples, they're really inexpensive, and it's 12 by 24, so you get lots of material. Now I'm finding matching colors in mica powder for the lip of the tray, and I take a really long time to figure it out, but I finally land on the bright pink, black, and then this orange color. It's actually called bronze, but it's really orange in color. It's really pretty. So the thing about mica powder is you have to mix it into your resin really, really well. Mix it until you think it's mixed. Let it sit, let it degas a little bit and let the bubbles come to the top, and then mix it like you've never mixed it before. You'll want to mix it again after it degasses because the unmixed mica likes to hide in bubbles. So don't want to find that in your finished product. And I will even spray a little bit of alcohol on the top just to pop some of those bubbles preemptively, make sure I get any unmixed mica out in the open so I can get that taken care of. And you can see I have a secondary mold there. I make resin like I make spaghetti. I either make enough for only one person or I make enough to feed the entire neighborhood. There's literally no in between. So I know myself, and I always have other molds ready. It's just a little trinket dish with a lid. It's really cute. The lid is like a sugar skull. So I will be putting the extra resin that I of course have into that mold. Now you did see me spray some alcohol in the lip of the tray. Typically you don't want to use alcohol in your molds, but in this situation I wanted the colors to stay color blocked and not mix, so I wouldn't have a chance to take my dotting tool around the edge and dislodge any bubbles. And I did wait about 20 minutes before pouring this so that it was a little more viscous and didn't spread as much, and I didn't risk the colors running into one another. And I don't want any of these colors to come into the middle of either of these molds. I take care of those little drips by wiping them off. As long as they're not actually touching the resin around the rim, you could actually just leave them and pop them off later. But I'm going to go ahead and let this sit overnight and cure. Okay, I'm back the next day to go ahead and pour the first layer of the middle of my tray. And I'm using just a plain black pigment paste that is meant for epoxy. I'll have that linked in the description. This is a very thin layer. I would love to tell you I did this on purpose as a way to add another layer of color. However, as you can guess, I didn't make enough resin. Literally no in between. So I am using my heat gun to help sort of tease that into the rounded corners. Just make sure I get everything covered that I can. Hit it with a little alcohol. And I will go around the edges with my dotting tool here. There's my face, and now you see why I do voiceovers. I have a respirator on and you wouldn't be able to understand me. But when you do go around the edge, make sure you are careful not to dislodge anything away from the mold. So the final layer is that bronze color. It really pulls more of like a really pretty pumpkin color. Mica powder in resin does just the coolest stuff. I wish it would hold this sort of a pattern in it, but as resin cures, it tends to shrink inward and it takes the pigment with it. So you'll see upon unmolding that it looks very smooth, but you can see sort of a line in the middle, and it's really cool still. I think it looks really neat. And I didn't want this layer too thick, so I do have to tease it out to the edges again like I did the black. And I'll cover this and I will let it cure overnight. Look how pretty that is. So cool. I love how it turns out. It looks great. You can see the square outlines of the supports in the mold, which in this situation isn't really a big deal because I'm putting some peel and stick wallpaper over it. But in the future, if I want to make just a resin tray, that might become an issue. I'll have to let you know what happens. So I'm just using the hinge method where I cut off part of the backing, lay it down flat, and then remove it slowly the other way. And I'm not worried about how flush the edges are because I'm going to be doing a top coat on this and I'm going to be pouring that around the edges. I'm also going to put a sort of translucent white right on top of that, also only on the edges. I wanted it to look kind of like creepy, foggy mist. I did wait about 20 minutes to pour this as well because I didn't want those colors to move away from the edges and cover up the cute wallpaper. Grab those bubbles around the edges. Here I am, popping bubbles. I can use my torch now because it's no longer in the mold. You can see with all of the extra resin I made for that, I poured the little skulls and bat wings and bones over on the right hand side. So now I'm just going around with the white over the gray, and I am going to hit it with the heat gun so that it loosens up a little and doesn't stay in the little strings. And I also take my dotting tool and I kind of swirl it around. I think it turned out cute. It didn't end up spreading much at all. The raven skulls do move a little bit toward the middle, but still fine. And here it is all done. Super cute, shiny, looks great. I love the colors. I love how this turned out. And I can't wait to make another tray for another season or another holiday. I hope you like it. Thanks so much for watching. Stay spooky, kitschy cats and kittens. I'll see you soon.